Hopefully you guys had a great weekend so far. We're gonna talk about it. And I trust you guys have some wins to share. So let me start the recording here. All right. Let's get this party started, my friends. It is Monday. Ah! Sorry, is that too much energy for you? Monday,
Nah,
if you
let's get
don't know,
wild.
is my favorite day of the entire week. So what we do here, this is considered a Monday Mastermind. This is led by myself and all of my cohorts, which I call friends here in the panelists or panelist, if you want to call them that. But we meet every Monday, 12 Eastern Standard Time, right here, live. If you're watching in YouTube land over there, you can join us live by going to thelosttransition.com/live. Would love to see you. It's way more fun here. So what we do here is we go into the panel, we talk about what their wins are, and then there's a section here where I'm going to do a little bit of a mind dump, if you will, drop some golden nuggets. And it's really what we're doing is we're focusing our week for our week, right? We're getting rid of whatever might have happened, collect those leads and those positive things that happen, and then move forward for the week. So that's kind of how the show starts. But it is Monday, and here in the United States, it is what we consider Memorial Day. So the first thing I'd like to do is just start with a moment of silence. So, with that being said, if you pray, feel free to pray. If you've lost loved ones or military related, anything like that, now's the time to think about those people. Let's have a moment of silence. All right. So, today, we've got some fun stuff for you today. This is what we're calling week 21. So, we're already 21 weeks into the year. We're at Monday, May 26th. Almost the end of May, guys. So January, February, March, first quarter's gone. April, May, we're running into June, which is the third month of the second quarter. So for those of you that are paying attention, following along, all that other fun stuff, we've been doing this for over 3 years. We just recently went live on YouTube for, this last year, started in January. But the group has been active and in essence built over 3 years ago. And it's what we call the lost transition. And the lost transition I created because I wanted to be able to help as many people as I could kind of navigate their way, if you will, through the struggles that you will go through when it comes to being an online entrepreneur, especially when it comes to being able to switch from that 9 to 5 that you may love, you might hate, called a job. Some people call it just over broke, right? There's all kinds of different terminology for it, to what I like to call freedom. And in essence, when I say freedom, I'm mostly talking about time freedom because to me, time is the most valuable asset that we have on this planet, right? You can agree or disagree. I believe that that's the case. So, do we all want to make money? Yes. Do we all want to be super wealthy? Well, not all of us, right? So, we all have this different impression, if you will, on what it is that we want out of life. And what I've learned from, again, from my experience, is that most people aren't able to achieve their goals and their dreams for one big reason, and that's because they really don't know what they want, right? The conversation has been had over and over before, and most of the times it goes like this. I say, well, what is it that you want out of life? Like, what's your vision? They say, I don't know, Robert. I just want to be happy. And then I say, well, what does that entail? Right? I don't know. I just want to be happy, right? Raise your hand or give me a one in the chat area down below if you feel what I'm throwing down. So, that being said, we're going to talk about this today. But before we get started, we're going to go and we're going to ask everybody in the panel here if they've got some wins to share because I would love to hear those. I love living vicariously through my friends. Can't be everywhere all at once, so I love hearing these wins And then I'm going to go into our portion for today, which I think you all are going to get tremendous value. But I do have to preempt what's happening here because I'm going to need y'all's help. And what I mean by that, and what I need is I'm going to need a little bit of your undivided attention if you can and will. I will say that the last time that I did this type of presentation or webinar was many years ago, over a decade ago, over when I lived in Florida. And we had a room of people in, it wasn't Zoom back then, but we had a room of people and I literally had them shouting, "Freedom!" jumping out of their seats. So if you feel so inclined, without messing up the recording, if you have a freedom moment as we're going through, and I'll remind you again, just feel free to unmute yourself and scream freedom, or jump out of your seat and scream freedom, or type it in the chat area. All right, everybody good? And with that being said, Catherine is now jumping in the room. So if everybody jumps up and screams freedom, she's going to be completely lost and not know what we're talking about. So I will repeat myself just so everybody's on the same sheet of music. Hi, Catherine. So let's start the show. Anybody got some wins that they want to share? Feel free to raise your hand and let's do some wins. Gene, go ahead, brother. What you got for wins for us?
Well, as you already saw, hold on, I gotta close one more thing so you can have my undivided attention.
All right.
Um, okay. Uh, one of my wins is I got my funnel 99.999% completed. It is a new platform,
Right.
and so it was a little bit of learning curve, but as soon as I got used to it and I knew what I was doing, I did have a mistake, and last night at 10:30, I'm still trying to fix it because I had some videos stacked and then verbiage right over the videos. And I could not figure out how to fix it. And I said, okay, I'm done. And I caught it after I'd already put it out there on social media, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So this morning I got back to my laptop and figured out, oh, I'll just create a, or, copy a block and then put everything back in that block. And it didn't overlay the videos anymore. So got that
Nice.
handled. Um,
Yay. Win.
Yes, it is for me. And so going to the other company that I and my lady partners are doing, we had another meeting with uh uh the guy Adam, the owner CEO, and another lady, I think her name, I don't remember what her name was now, but it started with a J. And they've got this new thing that we'll be promoting also. It's not lipstick, it's lip stain for the ladies.
Okay.
And it comes on a little sheet, and it's almost like rolling paper sheet. It looks like a little bit thicker,
It
but
doesn't
it's
come off on men's collars, does it?
no, it doesn't. That's the
All
one of the
right,
bonuses.
sold.
But you fold it in half and you put it like this, and it stains your lips and lasts for a long time.
Right.
And
Okay.
I'm instantly thinking, I know a lot of lady wrestlers and some of the guys that wear lipstick and makeup, and it disappears during the match.
Yeah.
So there's a whole line of customers there for me to promote that. And you may actually see me doing it myself on video
All
just to get
right.
people's attention. So I've already told the CEO I'll definitely do that. Um, and then they've got other products we'll be adding on the line too. Like there's a face spray that doesn't come off. Women sleep in it and wake up the next day and they still have it, stuff like that. And then going to our other product, we're getting closer to a full-on launch of the that medical test kit that we'll be hitting doctors for because they like to add things on that are cash pay instead of going through insurance,
Sure.
and it'll help them narrow down what they might need to be testing for that's covered under insurance. So, um, but
Right
just
on.
lots of new things going on. We're working on
How's
my. I'm sorry.
how's your top 10 video going? You got that ready yet?
I don't have that ready yet because I've been focused
Um,
on
yeah.
the funnel and the branding. Like I said, that's going to be a little bit more detailed than I originally thought. I will get that done,
I'm
and then
looking
that'll
forward to
be
that.
opening up a series of different top tens for the different products and services that I'll be offering.
Right
So,
on.
but um, and then just things are just rocking and rolling, just coming together slowly but surely. I'll be doing the genebeard.net branding this week. So
Love
And
it.
then I'll probably schedule something for Friday for you so that you'll have a sneak peek part of it on our one-on-one. So
Sweet, sweet. Love it. Congrats, brother.
thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. Move the needle forward every day, every day. Unless you're taking the day off, right?
What's
Then
that?
don't move the needle forward.
Wait,
I don't know. I
you're
guess some
speaking a
people
foreign
are taking the
language
day
here.
off
Day
today.
off, what's that mean?
I don't. I don't know. I take whatever day off I want, but not today. Right? Thank you for sharing, Gene. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Anybody else got some ones they want to share? Don't be shy, because you know what? We'll call on you. Raise your hand. Let me know. Come on. I'll bore you with mine. All right. So nobody else has wins? Okay. Rita. Rita, go
Okay,
last.
I'm waiting for somebody so I can
That's all
go
right.
last.
I'll need some time anyway for these slides, believe it or not. I got slides for you today. What?
Oh,
I
help.
can go before Rita since you like to go last.
All
I
right.
can
You
go.
got
I
some.
do, I do. I like to go last.
Share your
Okay,
wins,
so
Virgil.
I mean, I can
Don't be shy.
celebrate the win that I had this Friday since I launched the first masterclass session. We were all there, and that was a great experience for me, and I
That was a
hope for everybody
blast.
that showed up as well. That was a big win. It allows me to stay in that momentum
Yep.
seeking for that freedom in transitioning. I also had a team meeting with the group that I'm building and working around to launch an event here before, well, it's going to be in July. And this is going very great as well. It's coming in together. And it's allowing me also to expand on my network here and also open up in possible new connection that could need or use my service because I'm putting together my freelance type contractual approach for those who are looking for marketing, strategy, branding, or that type of conversation around existing or brand that they want to create. And so far, it's moving in the right direction. So I'm very happy with that
Love it,
and
brother.
happy every day it continues.
Yeah, love it. And I had a blast with that master class too, by the way, man. It was
Thank you.
absolutely a great time for sure. Appreciate you sharing that. Gene, you got some feedback?
Yeah, Virgil, you said here. Where is here?
Oh, I'm currently in Ivory Coast. I'm bouncing between Canada and Africa. I've been doing this for the past 5 years. So here is really Ivory Coast where my parents are, and it's a different ecosystem, right? So marketing here takes on a different tone because the environment is a little bit different. So you got to adapt a little bit what you're doing, but it's also a great opportunity because it's a virgin market, so to speak.
Oh, that's cool. Well, in your area, there's a lot more belly to belly marketing and connecting
Absolutely.
also than it is here in the States and Canada and such like that. So yeah, so that's a big that could be a big
Yeah.
win for you too, is educating how to people can network belly to belly more better.
More
Exactly. That is
better.
actually what I'm laying down here on making them understand how to turn that close quarter marketing into something that can continue on digitally, right? Because this is usually where they fall into the mechanics. But it's being received very well. I'm actually surprised myself that I would have to like, you know, fight
Love it.
the mental or the momentum, but everywhere it's really the age of that talk, digitalization and going online for commerce. So everywhere that conversation is there, and I feel very at home at home. It's
I love
beautiful.
it. Love it. That's what we call the nomad lifestyle, right? Or living
Uh,
the laptop lifestyle, which is something to be said if you're watching out there in YouTube land, right? That's what we're kind of talking about too. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have an affiliate program or be tied to an MLM. Once you learn some of the skill sets, you're able to be, like Virgil or even like our buddy Anas and do freelance work and do the types of things that people don't know how to do that need help, and you can fill that need, and you're solving a problem. By solving that problem you can make money. So that's how we roll around here. So thank you for sharing, guys. Rita, what you got, my friend?
Okay, hey
Can't wait to
everybody.
hear your wins.
Ooh, here we go. Do my little dance. All right. So I'm I'm super excited. Sometimes the give to get is a place where I think I just live there.
I love it.
And I got one of the biggest surprises from a group that I was working with. And the director contacted me. We're good friends. And he contacted me in October telling me about a vision he had.
Mhm.
The short of it is the vision came true yesterday at Friday and also Sunday. Sunday was a concert, Friday was a workshop, and I was able to create his whatever you call the stuff, the digital assets that go with it, like the flyers. I did a book, flip book that had the proposal in it. I created his website. Um, I created some stuff that went emails and things that went out. And so one of the biggest things that happened yesterday that I wasn't expecting, the, the front cover was what I had created for the flyers, and he told me what he wanted to use. I just produced them.
Nice.
And on the back cover of the program, it had me and someone else mentioned that I don't know whatever services we provided, I don't know, but just a thank you that consumed the whole back cover. And I didn't even know it was there. I happened to flip it over in my lap and I was like, oh my God. And so when I spoke with him, he said, I told him that the program could not be printed without this information. So that was a very nice win. I don't know what will come out of it. I'm sure it'll open up doors for something. It doesn't
Good.
matter. I don't look for it. When things happen, they happen.
Right.
And I also, for me, did the activity we did with Virgil and Blakester, and I got a different logo now.
Yeah.
And I also have created another graphic using Chat GPT, and it was amazing.
Yes. I love the way that came out.
I'm going to flip back to the group again because I just thought about something else I did. The director was at his conference was teaching. I took his whole PowerPoint because I said, "You have a PowerPoint?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Let me see and let me take it and see what I can do with it." So I threw it in
Gamma.
Gamma, thank you. And he was floored. He was floored. He absolutely loved it.
Love
Um,
it.
it was amazing. It was like 30 some slides, but it came out just great. So I am so happy to be a part of this group. The things that I'm learning, the things that I'm using that will just push me forward. And also the photographer that was there, I found her in my phone. She was able to come. She did pictures. So I'll have pictures and she needs nail site because she doesn't have a website. So
You know what else she needs too, right?
what else does she need?
She's a what?
She's a photo. Oh, she needs got backup.
What? Get
Making,
out of here.
making my notes. That is so funny because she said, I'll send you the photos digitally. And no, she said, I'll put them on a flash drive or on a something. And I said, why don't you just email them to me? And see, that would have been a perfect opportunity to, okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you.
very
That's
welcome.
that. Look, that's what were you just demonstrating? None, what is that listening called? I can't remember. I know it's something.
Level one listening.
That's it. I was going to say A1 listening, but the brain.
That's right. Got to
Thank
hear
you.
behind what they're actually saying. Hear what they're actually saying, right? That's awesome, girl. Congratulations. I love it, love it, love it. And I just want to tone in again, right? What Rita was just talking about for anybody that's watching out there or watching it on the replay, it's the skill set. The skill set that she's been learning how to do this, how to take a PDF, how to throw it into this, how to AI, how to all that stuff. When you learn that, it's you become valuable. People are like, oh my God, I need something done. Well, let's go to this person. That's how I got the nickname the Blakester. I was just a make shit happen person. People needed something done. They came to me. We got it done. And that's what we do around here. Thank you very much. Gene, what you got?
You mentioned using the AI. I completely forgot for my funnel, and I'll do it for all my other sites and funnels. I use ChatGPT, and first I think I said this the other day, I use Perplexity to get the research for SEO stuff. Put it in ChatGPT, saying, "Okay, now you're an SEO expert. Review my funnel and give me feedback." it gave me how to, I'd never really even heard of this. I heard it before, but didn't remember is schema. I can build the schema in the background code and put it in the head. That helps Google find you better. It also helped me test the schema on Google and also helped me get it verified on Google to where it was crawled.
Nice.
And now, in the next coming weeks and months, it should show up when people are looking up either my name or make money online. It could show up, or funnels, it could show up, and stuff I would have never even thought of just building a funnel, you know.
Search
That
engine optimization, brother.
Yep.
Oh
So
yeah.
it helped me do all that. And so that's a anybody else that has websites and funnels,
Yeah.
talk to, like I say, go to Perplexity first and tell it you're an SEO expert and get the information and take all that, put it back in ChatGPT that so it knows more. And it really, and then little things like, okay, it tell me I need to build a schema. Okay, well, build it for me. And it built it for me. Then we discovered something else I need to add to it. Okay. And so I put the schema back in so it wouldn't forget. Add this to it now. So I didn't have to code anything. I just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. It built it for me.
Sure.
So
Awesome.
it was very, very cool. So
Sweet. Sweet. Appreciate you sharing that, brother. That's awesome. Yeah, technology, you got to get behind it or get left behind it. That just came out of nowhere. All right, so quick share, and then we got to pivot because I want to get this information out to you guys. I think it's going to be very valuable. We're going to have some fun. As far as my wins, we had Diane's parents come into town, so the in-laws were in town this weekend. Hadn't seen them in ages. Her mom hasn't been doing well. Her health hasn't been that great, so it was very nice to be able to see them. Her son, some more great news, is about to graduate on the 30th, and he was actually selected for a full ride scholarship. So, yay to him! Full ride scholarship, going to school here in Texas. They're paying for everything, room, all that fun stuff. So, we're really proud and happy of him. But it was nice to be able to spend some time with them. We hadn't seen them in years. That's my wins and fun for this week. Transition. Lots of fun stuff that I want to share with you, and I want to make sure that we get enough time. So let me start sharing my screen. And like I said, I actually got some slides for you today. Yay! Imagine that. You know, when you're working around with somebody like Virgil and he's breaking out the slides, you got to step up your game a little bit. So this is dedicated to Virgil. Teasing. It's dedicated to all you guys. But look, I do want to say, and Catherine, you weren't here when I first said this. The last time that I did this conversation, and it's obviously not going to be the same as back then, but it was over a decade ago when I was living in Florida. Real good friend of mine, Rex, had come over. He's another person that's in the internet marketing space that I've known for 15 plus years, does really well, really good. And he knows all this fun stuff too, right? Except for the door-to-door and the sales psychology stuff that I know that I teach that's specific to me. But last time we did this, on my part, when I started talking about this, we had a room of people inside of this was before Zoom time, but it was, in fact, it was Joel Terrian's rooms that we were using back in the day. And we had people literally jumping out of their seats screaming, "Freedom! Freedom! Freedom!" So at any point in time through this, just so that we're not messing up the recording or whatever, if you think that, it resonates with you, and just unmute yourself, say freedom. If you got, some kind of something from it. But I'm going to ask you, though, you're going to want to take notes because I'm going to do some of you guys that are in our training, we kind of need to figure out what those numbers are, right? You hear me talk about numbers so that we know where we're at and how we can grow. And if we don't have those numbers, then we can't grow, right? Or at least we can't identify the growth. So at any point in time, like I said, if it clicks with you, resonates, unmute yourself. You can scream freedom. You can scream it at the top of your lungs. Try to wake up your neighbor. Okay? Try to wake up your neighbor. Just in case they're asleep, try to wake them up. But I want to talk to you today about what freedom really looks like, okay? Because as I mentioned at the very beginning of this presentation, freedom can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, right? I really wish Jackie was here, but this me saying this may encourage her to watch this replay. But I wanted her to ask me about this story about the time that I was knocking doors and I walked across this gentleman, and at the time I didn't even know he was homeless. All I did and said was hello to the guy. And the guy lost it. He was like, "Oh my God, you won a prize!" Like I was on some kind of game show or something. I'm over here freaking out, like, what is wrong with this guy I said hello to? Like, is the guy crazy or whatever, right? Come to find out, after we had this crazy cool interaction, he said, "I want you to know that you're the first and only person that said hello to me all day long. And I've had people pass me back and forth." And then he explains to me that he's homeless, right? So why am I saying that? Because again, I want you to think about different perspectives of where you're at in life. And maybe this will also help you appreciate what you have. But think about, what does freedom really look like to you? Because as I mentioned before, most people don't even know what the hell they want. And if you don't know what you want, you're never going to get it. It's just never gonna happen. I think of that song, never gonna get it, 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 get it? And it's true. So whether it's a fancy car or a beautiful big house, a mansion, something by the lake, something by the river, all of these things that we think about as desires, we're never going to manifest them completely unless we know what we want, right? One of my mentors helped teach me that. He said also, if there's something that you want, you need to see what is the cost of what it is. So if it's an expensive car, what is that cost? Don't go and just say, "Oh, I want a Lamborghini in my front yard." Know how much that Lamborghini costs. You're going to need to know that so you know and figure out, well, what's the type of value that I need to put into the marketplace so that you can receive said Lamborghini in driveway, right? Same thing with a house or anything else that you want to desire in life. That being said, freedom to me is, as I'm speaking to you guys, as I mentioned at the very beginning, is time. That's to me the most valuable thing that I could have, that I have as an asset. Even the time that I have to be able to spend here with you guys. Like, I value that time. And believe it or not, that time, this time that we spend here together with each other, that helps me feel free. That gives me freedom. Why? Because I'm able to do something that I want, something that I'm passionate about, something that I can, in essence, maybe affect other people in a positive manner to perhaps help them get to whatever their freedom really looks like. Because I don't know what that looks like, right? I don't know what your freedom looks like. My freedom, though, isn't the Lamborghini, it isn't the mansion, it isn't all of that. Well, I just want to be happy, right? But I know what my happiness is. I know it because I'm 100% happy. I have the car in the driveway I want. I have the house that I want. I have the love that I want. I have all the little things. I've got my massage chair here. I've got all these little things. So I don't want for anything. Well, maybe I do want a foosball table. And that's gonna come because I'm putting it out there. So we're gonna make it happen. But really, I want you to think about, what does freedom really look like to you? And as we're going through these slides, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to ask you to evaluate where you're at within these questions. Because if you can identify these things, again, have one of those big things that we talk about, which is that magic word that I love, which is awareness. When you have awareness, then you can make effective changes where you need to, but you can't make those changes unless you have the data, right? So we're going to get you the data today. And we're going to get a better picture of what your freedom really looks like, what it is that you actually want, if you play along and play along nicely. Okay? That being said, I want to talk about this first thought and this first slide and why I wanted to start with this because, again, going back to my mentor, something that he used to say all the time that really resonated with me, and I hope it'll resonate. I trust it'll resonate with you. Freedom is being able to wake up when you're rested and go to sleep when you're tired. But even deeper than that, if we look at this, it's not just about what you do, but it's how you feel when you're doing it, right? Yeah, here comes what we were talking about a minute ago with Rita. This means listening intently, not just to the people that are outside of you, but to your body's natural rhythms. Because I can tell you, as somebody that deals with, sleep apnea, it's about that natural rhythm. And if you get off a rhythm, you won't be able to sleep, right? And if you are out of rhythm and you're not in sync and you're not getting the sleep you need and you're not putting the stuff that you need to into your body and, blah, 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 all that stuff you hear about, then you're going to be offset or you'll cause disease in the body. Really, if you have true freedom, that means mind, body, and spirit, right? It means everything. It means anything and everything around you, what you come in contact with, what you decide to do or what you decide not to do, right? So highly recommend, do what you can to get the best sleep that you possibly can. Because you have to allow that body the deep restorative sleep for all the things that you're doing during the day, especially if you're online for 8 to 12 hours a day. But again, I want you to think about this. Like that to me that's where I'm at right now in life. And the wife laughs at me because of it. And Rita, she knows because I tell her the stories. If I go and I'm done with my day, I go outside there and I'm not playing video games. I'm sitting on my couch. Guess what? Instant narcoleptic. Instant, right? But it's a beautiful thing to be able to do that, is what I'm getting at. I don't have to wake up. I don't have to punch anybody else's clock but my own. I don't have to drive through traffic. I don't have to listen to somebody else tell me what it is that I don't want to do, right? So there's a big thing there in the freedom to be able to wake when you're tired or wake when you're rested and sleep when you're tired, right? Again, at any point in time, just let me know if I'm hitting some buttons for you. But there's this thing we call the freedom paradox, right? I say most people are busy, but they're not free. You understand what I'm saying? Especially on the daily, day to day, we're always worried about, oh my God, what do I got to do? I'm busy, I'm busy. Especially if we have really bad time management skills. Then there comes a stress, which causes more stress on the body, which causes disease if you're not taking care of your body. But look, we're not born to clock in and clock out, guys. We're not. We're really meant to build our own time. I hate to be the truth bearer, not really, because I love the truth, but we're not meant for the life that most of us are living, especially when it comes to that 9 to 5. Okay? I won't go down the rabbit holes with all that. But there is a paradox to that, right? So with that freedom paradox, it's not just about what you can do, as mentioned before, but what you choose to do. But here's the kicker: free from external pressures. Ooh, and I'm getting goosebumps as I say that. Ugh. Free from external pressures or internal doubts. Anybody feel that? Give me a one in the chat area if you felt that. But it's that liberation to make conscious decisions that align with your deepest values and your aspirations, right? Allowing you to shape your path and define your own success. What does your success mean, right? It might be that car in the driveway. It might be that house. It might be that love of your life, but it involves the big ones down there, your choices, right? Embracing accountability, which is something that a lot of people unfortunately lack. And then ultimately having the courage to forge whatever your unique journey is going to be. I'm saying that for a reason because throughout the years, I've seen so many people come and so many people go, and so many people literally just give up on themselves. And it's sad to see it, really is. Because from my perspective, I knew I was going to do this. I knew one day I would be in here with all of you. I didn't know it was going to be all of you specifically, but I knew this was the life I wanted. I knew this is what I wanted to make happen. I knew there were choices that I had to make to get that. And in fact, I lost loved ones over my pursuit of happiness to be here in this digital room with you today. True story. But it was still all in an effort to what? To get to what my version of freedom was. That version of freedom is just like I said, to be able to wake when I'm rested, sleep when I'm tired, make my own hours, make my own schedule, not work if I don't want to, or to be able to go out there and buy something. Maybe this one will resonate for everybody here. Buy something without having to look at your checkbook or your account balance. Maybe that one might have somebody scream freedom. Hmm?
Freedom.
Thank you.
I forgot to unmute freedom. Yes.
Thank you. So I want you to, right now, we're going to write this down. Woo, got goosies on that one. There's three questions. Well, number one, what does freedom mean to you? I want you to, real quickly, we're going to give you just a few moments. I want you to write down, what does freedom mean to you? I'm going to ask you to share that in just a moment, some of you. What does freedom mean to you? Is it the time? Is it the car in the driveway? Is it the house? Right? Just quickly think about that and jot something down so that you can put it into words. You don't have to write out a whole paragraph or anything like that, right? And while you're doing that, I want you to think, is it somebody else's version? Like I trust and hope you're not chasing somebody else's version of what they want you to be. Because many times in life, unfortunately, that happens, right? Maybe it's our parents. We want you to go to medical school or something like that, right? Got to be a doctor. And meanwhile, that's not in direct alignment with whatever your passion is at all, right? And then last but not least, what about your blueprint? What is that blueprint going to look like to define what that freedom is? And then how do we build it and how do we build upon it? Okay. So think about those things. Now, I want to kind of kill some of the freedom myths that we're talking about because there's a difference between fake freedom and real freedom, especially when we're talking about this perspective from JOB to freedom with the lost transition. We're not telling you to go quit your job. Okay. That's not what we're telling you to do, even if it sucks, right? Don't quit your job. Freedom doesn't mean that you have a boss either. And when it comes to freedom, you should be doing less work and getting paid more than working hard and getting paid less. Freedom, anyone? Also escaping effort from having to work so hard. Where's the real freedom come in? That means controlling your time, right? No boundaries. Working and using smarter systems like what we're talking about here to build our business using artificial intelligence and the tools that are out there that we need to be successful network marketers. Said it before, you can't be a plumber without a plunger, right? Can't be a carpenter without a saw. Network
Mhm.
marketing requires specific tools. And if you don't have those tools, you need to get them. If you if you want to do it the right way. So there's some freedom myths there that we got to go through and think about, right? That being said, here's the audit, and here's why I told you to get pen and paper. I'm going to ask you these questions real quick, and I want you to write down on a scale of 1 to 10. We're going to do a quick audit so that you have your numbers, you have your data, you have your basics, your metrics. So question number 1, time freedom. On a scale of 1 to 10, write down how much control do you have over your daily schedule? I want a number. You don't have to tell it to me right now. I'm going to ask some of you guys to share if you want to, which I'm sure some of you guys will want to. But are you spending your hours on what truly matters to you? I mean, if there's grandkids, are you getting to spend time with them? Or are you working too much on somebody else's schedule and not seeing them? Just throwing that out there. I don't know how many of y'all have grandkids. Right? Thankfully, my kids have not made me a granddad yet. But give yourself a quick score. Everybody got a score? Raise your hand if you got your score written down. Cool.
How much control do you have over them?
Yeah. Okay. Number 2, financial freedom. Scale of 1 to 10. Where are you at? All right. Does your finances support your desired lifestyle without constant stress? Or do you have to keep looking into the bank account and like, is there this constant stress that happens? Go ahead, G. You have a question? You got to unmute yourself.
No, it's answering that for me. Financial freedom's a 2.
Okay.
The time freedom's a 6 between my bonds that you're hurt.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Oh,
Do me a favor.
I thought you wanted it. Okay.
Yeah. Just write the numbers down first. Let's get through all 5.
I misunderstood. I thought you said speak
yeah,
up. Okay.
yeah, no worries. No worries. You're good. So, but financial freedom, let's write down a number, 1 to 2, whatever, or 1 to 10, excuse me. You got that 2 stuck in my head. You see that? Does your finances support your desired lifestyle without constant stress? Are you building wealth that empowers choice, or are you tied to obligations? Meaning, damn, I got to make this money because I got to pay these bills, which is where most people are at, right? Give yourself a score, 1 to 10. Then let's move to number 3. Question 3, relational freedom. Ooh, 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 ooh. Are the relationships that you have, especially the people that are closest to you, are they uplifting and supportive? Allowing you to be your authentic self, or do you have to pretend to be somebody that you're not? Or do you feel constrained by expectations or toxic dynamics? Score 1 to 10, write it down, okay? Number 4, healthy and energy freedom. Do you feel vibrant and energized, able to pursue your passions? Like when you wake up in the morning, do you jump out of bed like I do and run into your shorts with 2 legs with no coffee? Or is it difficult to get out of bed in the morning? Do you got to hit that snooze 10 times before you roll out and then roll back into bed? 1 to 10. And then number 5, this is a big one too, purpose and expression freedom. Now, I got to tell you too, this is something that I personally struggle with only in the elements of putting stuff out there on Facebook of things that I would love to be able to say, but can't say because the limitations that I have on that specific network and Mark Zuckerberg tying my hands, which gives me another idea for my next AI picture, just like that. But are you living in alignment, right, with what it is that you want to do? What's your deepest values and expressing your unique talents? Because this also goes into play with what you hear me talk about all the time when I say, share your story, which most of us many times don't and or are not sharing our stories currently. Look in the mirror. I don't know if it's you, but do you feel truly fulfilled by whatever your contributions are? Do you feel good about the information that you're putting out there on Facebook or whatever, LinkedIn, whatever those places are that you're putting that information out there? Right? Do you feel good about it? Okay. Everybody should have a number from 1 through 5, right? Cool. Now, this is something else I want you to look at because there's 4 pillars of what we like to call freedom. Clarity, that's number 1. Right there at the top of the little pyramid there. Knowing your vision. Going back to what we were talking about before, most people don't know what it is that they want, so then they'll never get to that point of freedom. So you have to know what your vision is. Most of you guys that have been in my training, you guys know that's one of the 6 questions that we make sure we ask people when we're going through and pre-qualifying them. Yes? What is your vision? How are you going to be able to ask somebody else's vision and help them get to their vision if you don't know what your vision is or how to get there? This is what we call the blind leading the blind. And unfortunately, it happens way too much, right? So clarity, number 1, give yourself a score, 1 to 10. How clear are you on your vision? Second one here is leverage. Automate and delegate. Do you even know what the word delegate means? Or are you out there just trying to do it all and do it all yourself? Huh? I learned about delegation a long time ago back at McDonald's. And if you can automate things, then obviously automate them, but you need to be careful about how you're automating them so that they make sense when it comes to the automation standpoint. You don't want it to, they say hi and you're like, hi, thanks for saying hi. Here, go buy my stuff. Right? So make sure your automation is right. And on that leverage, give yourself a score, 1 to 10. Where are you at on it? Number 3. Woo! The big C letter, and I'm not talking about cancer. Consistency, my friends, consistency. Because if you're not consistent, nothing will ever happen. Which that means that you got to stack the small wins. Why do you think, yes, there's a method to my madness. Why do you think that I start every show off with the wins from the audience? Huh? There's no secret to it, but that's why. I want those of you that are here and participating, I want to hear those wins because I'm actually getting you to say them so they resonate in the back of your mind and your subconscious. It really doesn't have much to do with me at all, really. Consistency, 1 to 10, where are you at? And then that fourth one, decision. Choose freedom daily, especially if you can. Where are you at on that? Are you able to choose freedom daily? Can you do what you want when you want? Where's that at? Scale of 1 to 10. Another number for you, right? Cool beans. Here's another one. This one is where we break these chains. Number 1, time. Who owns your schedule? Kind of piggybacks off of what we already asked, right? This is it. This is the 3 things that you need to think about to break whatever chains that you have binding you right now. Who owns your schedule? Number 2, peace. Who steals your calm? Going back to the people that are around you, right? And then number 3, decisions. Who's going to control those choices? If you're the person that's going to control your time, then it should be you that would control those decisions, who also needs to make the decisions to have peace in your life. I'm not telling you to go kick Uncle Johnny to the curb because he's an alcoholic, right? Not saying that. I'm saying it's your choice of who you spend your time with, right? And if you want to get better at what it is that you're doing, then you hang around with people that know more than you do. You want to make more money, then you hang around with people that have more money than you do. But part of this whole thing that we're doing here, whether it's the Monday Masterminds, my personal trainings, or you're popping into Virgil's and my Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or you're in a master class, we're here to help you rip those chains off. Can I get a freedom?
Freedom.
Right?
Freedom.
So think about those decisions, my friend. Are you done asking for permission? Anyone? Done living
Yes.
half speed?
Freedom. Done asking for permission.
You ready to own your own life?
Freedom.
What do you want?
Freedom.
Freedom.
I didn't hear
Only
you.
freedom.
Freedom.
Awesome. Freedom starts when you move. Freedom starts when you send the message. So I encourage you, when we're done here, reach out now. Freedom starts when you make that call. Have the conversation 5 per hour. Freedom starts when you launch that brand. Put yourself out there. But you have to stop waiting. Perfect doesn't exist, right? That's why you'll hear a lot of us say, just get started. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just get started. So your freedom is unlocked. The journey to true freedom begins when you choose to live life on your terms, my friends, not the world's, right? It's really comes down to your power and it being limitless. You need to know this. You need to understand this. Because if you don't, you're going to struggle. It's going to take you longer. So I want to ask you, what does your freedom look like, my friends? I want you to take a moment, close your eyes, and I want you to visualize your ideal state of freedom. Just for about 30 seconds or so, and then I want you to raise your digital hand and get in line. And I want you to share some of the numbers that we came up with. I want you to tell me, what does it feel? What does it feel like? What does it entail? I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. What does your freedom look like? Now that you've heard this information, now that you've got numbers, now that you've got a better idea of what you need to focus on and things that you need to maybe remove out of your life, what does your freedom look like? That's my question to you. Who cares to go first? And I trust you guys got some value out of this. I know that to me, when I was putting this together, it was like, oh, this is perfect for what we're talking about. It's right in alignment with what Virgil and I are doing, directly in alignment with what we're teaching in the private classes. Like, it made the most sense to me, especially when we're talking about going from whatever that job is to freedom. So what does your freedom look like? Anybody care to share? Are y'all gonna be shy now? Go ahead, Rita. Thank you.
All right, you'll have to listen to me.
Please do. I love
Um,
listening to you.
so my numbers were, I totaled my numbers and that was 42. So that on average it's 8, and that was for the first ones. So the control over freedom is 8. What does what does freedom look like to me? That is merely what you've said. I've heard it for years. I I like when I can wake up done sleeping. I don't have any pressures. I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I have a simple life, so I'm not looking to travel around the world. I like helping people. That's what I do. And so therefore I can move in different crowds, different with different people, learning to interact online, which was huge for me. And it's fun. I really do like it. It's like, wonder what today is going to bring. And I do when I finish sleeping, I wake up and then I get mad when I have to keep waking up. All right. Four pillars of freedom. The number was 28, so the average is about, I don't know, 4 into 30, whatever that is. My numbers range from 10, 5, 5, consistency and leverage being the lowest ones, and then making decisions. I make decisions, although sometimes it takes me a little while to do that. Breaking the chains, that for those three, they were pretty, I'd say 9, 9, and 10, because I get to control that. And I will say I'm retired, so that gives me a little more leverage than those people that are still working jobs are doing. And I understand where they are very well because I was there too, but I've been
Right.
retired for I think 13 years. So
Mhm.
um that I'm good with. I think for me it is just the biggest thing that I can say from this would be to be consistent, and I allow other things to get me involved in different projects. So, like family, I get it, but I have to do it. I just have to. So I have to find another way to make that consistency work, and I will. I'll figure it out.
Love that. So let me ask you too, because even when it comes to you becoming retired, I mean, that was part of what your freedom looked like back then, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then,
That was a part of it. And then the other, I was with like Catherine, we both are in Legal Shield, and I loved what that does. And when we talk about alignment, the things that I offer are in alignment with what I do and what I feel extremely strong about. With that freedom came understanding being able to analyze what I'm eating and how does that affect my body? And because I know if you don't have health, I always wondered why people were pushing those carts and leaning on them in the store. Well, guess what? I found out and I didn't like it. So I had to make a switch. And so I did the fasting and what have you. But I found out what foods are good. I listened to my body. And when you're retired, you have time to do that because you're not focusing on so many other things. So the health, I've got to have the health first. So that's a big focus for me, and that comes through foods.
right on. And so one last question for you. You being the connecting the dots type of person that I know you are, how do
Mhm.
you feel about this information that we shared today and seeing the data in front of you? I don't know if you've done that before for each one of those things, but how do you feel about this information?
Not in the same way. It was a wheel, and you had different parts of your life, and then you placed yourself on the wheel. So I was thinking about creating one and then plugging those numbers in and seeing how you can make that wheel come into a circle, looking like a wheel and not like like a jigger jagger going around. Because when you start connecting those dots, it's not a wheel, it's not a full circle. So that's what I thought about that. But it is good. It makes you think about what it is that you're doing. And also, lastly, the part about y- you are creating a roadmap for where it is you want to go. So if I want to go to Texas, I need to know, if I didn't have a GPS, I got to map that out. And if you don't map it out, you'll stay stuck. And if you don't continue to work on that, you'll still be stuck. And the most valuable thing that I think is just connecting with the right people, but you won't know that until you get involved. And it's not that you don't know what you're going to get. So when you
Right.
those jewels that you get, the people are willing to give. These are things that I paid thousands for and did not receive. Seriously, thousands. So just trying to become better. But then when things start clicking and things that people say, I might have to listen to it. I might have to listen to Virgil 2 or 3 times. But I'm going to make that investment in myself. And that's just where I am. It's nothing that Virgil is or is not communicating. It's where I am here. I need to be where he is. So
Sure.
if I've got to listen to it, just like with singing, if you want to be a good singer, it's not, you know what, you good or great. You're gonna have to practice. You just
Right.
don't wake up being like, hey, I can sing. Like, no, your voice goes through changes. In the morning it's different, afternoon different. So you gotta, what they say, inspect what you expect.
Sure. I
So
love that.
yeah.
Absolutely love it. And by the way, there was a circle in there. The only thing that we were missing yet again was the masking tape. Little inside joke there for
I saw somebody use masking tape. I thought about you. I was like, look, he's
you. Thank you for sharing, Rita. Gene, go ahead, brother. What does your freedom look like? Talk to me, bro.
Well, first, apologize. I got excited about something I remembered from a former
All right.
training,
Cool.
and
Good.
you merged them together. So I'll say that at the end of this. But that's why I jumped in, and I was just excited
Good
about
stuff.
that too.
No worries. We're good.
For time freedom, I had a 6, and that's mainly because of my mom.
Right. Sure.
I can take time to take care of her, do things for her. She's not an
Gotta
invalid,
love
but I
her
got to
anyway.
do lots of things. On the financial freedom, I'm a 2. And that's because I don't work a full time job. So I'm trying to build my empire slowly but surely by
Sure.
doing the things I could do during the time that I have. And because I do take care of my mom, it affords me the time that I can do work on my funnel for 2 days. Hopefully, I'll narrow that down to 30 minutes later, stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Right.
On relational freedom, I have a 7 because, like, my daughter doesn't like what I do. She thinks I should have a full time job. I can't have a full time job because I can't tell my customer in a call center, "Oh, please hold. I got to go take care of my mom." You know,
Right.
she doesn't quite understand that.
Sure.
Um, and then I also don't have that. I have you all. You all are my work family,
Amen.
and and that helps me out so much as I don't have those friends who are necessarily supportive. I have my work family with the ladies I work with, Lisa, Veronica, and Renee also, and other people on those teams and everything. So, but for health and energy, I put a 6 because only because even though I'm your hormone health hero. I do my somaderm, things like that. I'm not healthy enough. I don't do the things I need to do. I don't take the time, even 30 minutes, to exercise like I should. Because my mom at 90 now has become a finicky eater. I can't go and make a meal that she may or may not like, and then I'm stuck eating a week's worth of food because she didn't like it in the first place. So so I have to eat like her sometimes, and I'm eating more salad, so which is a halfway good thing. And
Ah,
then for 5 is purpose and expression. I put a 5 because I don't necessarily say the things I want to say, like you were saying, but I have to. I have an audience. I'm building a tribe, building an avatar, so to speak. So I have to be careful what I say. I gotta be careful what I post. I see some funny stuff. Robert, I've sent you a few things that, God, I wish I could post it, but I can't.
yeah.
You know.
Totally
Uh,
understand.
um, Now on the pillars, I did an 8 for clarity because I'm pretty sure I know what I want and how I want to get there. 6 for the leverage, because I am using a lot more of the tools and stuff like that, but there's more to use. I'm always in the learning process.
Sure.
Um, I put a 6 for consistency because I know I'm not consistent enough in what I'm doing yet. As I get
Job.
my as I get my all my buildings built in my kingdom, and then I get them automated, that will allow me to be more consistent in the long run. And then decision is uh, a 4 because I allow other things to get in the way, and I need
Son of-
to improve on that. For the break your chains, For time, I put a 5 again because I got to balance my time between my mom and what I need to do.
Right. The
Um,
coexist.
uh, for peace, I put a 7 because again, that steals my time sometimes. I'll book something and have something ready, and oh wait, she's getting up from a nap now. I got to go help her, so I can't do that. And then and also I can't get out of the house to do things I want to do. And then decisions, who controls my choices again. I can't make all the choices I want to make because I'm homebound. So um
Sure.
what I wanted to tie in to what you were saying is back when I was in Team National 20 years ago or more, one of the big things was what's your why? And one of the leaders would talk about what's your why. And he'd say, okay, well, you're going to Home Depot. Why are you going to Home Depot? Because I need a hammer. Well, no, that's not your why. You're going to Home Depot. You're going to Home Depot because you need to nail a hole in the wall. Why are you going to McDonald's or Subway? Because I want a sandwich. Well, that's not your why. You're going there because you're hungry. That's your
Right.
why.
Mhm.
And you brought it into frame with me with time. Is that um what's your why? Oh, I want a new car. I want a new house. I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. And well, those are all fine and dandy for your why, but that's not your real why because
Right.
you said this earlier is that if I don't have the time, I
Bingo.
can't enjoy those things.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of bridged that together,
Love
that
it.
now my why has become more of time,
Love it. Love it. Love it. And
you
if
know.
you notice, that's why I didn't ask you guys, what is your why?
hmm
Yes, there is a method to my madness.
Yep. So, but
Love
you
it,
help
brother.
tie that together because I always loved the
Love
what's
it.
your why. I heard it so many different times and so many different ways and everything. What's your why? And I like teaching it to people. Now you give me an extra thing to add to that when I go to teach people that. So,
Just a different way of looking at it, right? But
exactly.
then you're not convoluting that person with saying, well, what's your why? And them giving you the wrong why because that's not really their why.
hmm
Make sense?
Yep.
Awesome. Great job. Great stuff, brother. Appreciate you sharing. Dale, what you got, brother? I trust y'all are getting some value out of this. I'm loving it.
So, have you guys ever heard of the 7-layer question?
Sounds very familiar.
Yeah, that's about the why. Is
Okay.
when you're asking somebody to find their why, is they
Sure.
say, well, why do you want that? If they say, well, I want to make, 10 grand a month. Well, why do you want to make 10 grand a month? Well, because I want to do this. Well, okay, what's that going to get you? Well, okay, it's going to give me this. Well, okay, what's that going to do? Why do you want that? And when you dig down, and when you can't dig down any further, that's generally what the true why is. And
Mhm.
it's usually seven times we'll get to the true why of why somebody want, what they truly want in their life.
Sure.
Um, and that was taught to us way back. Um, Maybe some of you guys remember David Wood. But that
I
was
do.
taught to
Yeah.
me by him way back in
Awesome.
the late 90s, early
Stellar,
2000s.
stellar guy, David Wood.
Yeah,
Absolutely. He's taught a lot of people some great stuff.
yeah,
Uh, again, we're not going into what is your
yeah.
why?
No, I understand, but that was one of the, back to kind of uh um piggyback on what
Sure, sure.
Gene said. Yeah.
But let's talk about your freedom,
Yeah.
brother.
No,
What's your,
so let me see what I got here. So let
because
me
we're
just,
running out of time. I'm sure some people may need to run. Hopefully you don't.
yep,
You guys are
yep.
probably off
So
today.
anyway, real quick, my time freedom was 8, because I have to do some things. My have to pay chauffeur for my wife because she's not driving yet,
Sure,
to go to PT and whatnot. So but that's okay. I mean, we help each other out. So
sure.
for financial freedom is a 2.
Yep.
Because right now I'm just working off of Social Security.
And
Um,
just so you guys know, okay, you don't have to explain yourselves.
yeah, relationship was an 8.
Cool.
That needs to be a little better. Health and energy a 5.
Okay.
Purpose and expression a 5. So that adds up to like 30. Um, so and then for the pillars of freedom, clarity was a 5, leverage is a 5, consistency was an 8, because I'm pretty consistent. I'm there every
Good.
day.
Good.
And decision um goes back to consistency. If I wasn't an 8 in consistency, um decisions a 10. I mean,
Right.
I'm at it every single day and I won't stop. The only way you fail in this business is if you quit. So
Right.
um
Well, we had some fun this morning. I trust that's going to help you. And
yeah,
we'll have to revisit all that stuff. Make sure you get dialed in so you're headed in the right direction.
yeah. So
Cool.
that's what I
Any other
got.
numbers there? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. You get some value out of this? At least,
Absolutely.
you at least see your numbers, right? And that's again, I want you guys to draw from these numbers so you have the data and then revisit 3 months, 6 months, whatever time frame it is. How do you feel now? And did those numbers increase? And if they didn't, well, why not? Right. So appreciate you, brother. Thanks for sharing.
Yep.
Last but not least, we'll wrap it up with our brother from another mother here, Virgil Obeo.
Oh, thank you for
What you
the
got, brother?
light.
What's your
Thank
freedom
you
look
for
like?
this
I
exercise as
really
well.
want
There's a
to
lot of value in it. A lot of value in it because often enough we get confused in trying to paint the big picture of our life. And this allows you to put things on the board, not only points, but clarity as well. Because me, for example, with pursuit of happiness, my freedom, what it means for me is really doing what I want at any time. And this is going back to the control of time, being where I want at any given time. And this is being controlling the place where I am, but also the body, right? Where I choose to have my body, especially for me who's pursuing that digital nomad life. This is important. And the last is controlling your income. How do you nourish this body, right? How do you control your earning? So this is really what this freedom looks like for me. And the audit allowed me, even though I think I'm being very hard on myself, but it's important to be hard on yourself so that you set standards that you have to adhere to. So even though I think I was a little bit hard on myself, my audit, the time I'm putting it at 5 on 10. Why? Because I'm still battling this time, right? Between what I want to do and what I have to do to maintain and maintain the race.
right.
Financial freedom gave myself a 1 because I am in that transition. Relationship freedom 4. Why? Because often enough, well, I am in this space where I do something that looks and sounds very vague to my next of kins. So sometimes you don't actually grasp it. Some of them will embrace, not all. So there's always this conversation to be had, which is also a room to create more a relationship between them and me, explaining and making them understand.
I
So
love
that's
that.
cool. Uh, Health energy, I put myself at a 5. Why? Because I know my body. I know what I do and what I do not do, right? I am the type of person that I won't eat my emotion, but I'll starve my emotion, meaning that when I'm on the grind, I'll stop eating properly. That affects your sleep. It keeps me in that momentum, but I should control my energy more. So resting is so important because you feel it when you wake up with a troubled mind or non-rested mind.
No
Grinding
doubt.
through the work is not the same, right? And with that, I gave myself a 7 on purpose. Why? Because even though I know that the energy levels are not always there, or there are some things that are working against my peace of mind and such, while I stay focused. That decision to pursue this dream is still anchored, and I still revolve back into that. I mean, I started traveling and working 5 years ago, and I don't see myself changing back. So I have to move on forward. So it's giving me that purpose, and that expressing it has become a lot more easier because I choose to believe in it more when you say it, and that's important. When you say things out loud, you have to believe in them and you have to abide by them, and that falls into that discipline. And that
Well,
brings me to
not
my
just
pillars.
that, not just that,
Mhm.
brother, but whoever's watching here, whenever you say anything, that's just your words proving your subconscious to be correct.
Mhm.
So that's the way
Absolutely.
I look at it. Didn't mean to distract you there. Sorry.
No, no, no. You were right on cue because it's reinforcing what you are thinking when you profess it out loud, and that's important. Clarity, I put myself as an 8 because I know where I'm going. I know what I want to do. I think last time I had that momentum or that epiphany, the haha moment when you talked about the shiny object syndrome. And I've been keeping that in focus, making sure that I adhere to one focus point. Leverage, I give myself a 6. Why? Because I'm still exploring what is happening here on the ground and still understanding how to assess the connection that I'm making and leverage the people in either becoming my team or becoming part of a network that I can rely or call upon when the opportunity comes in. So I'm still navigating that consistency as well. Um, Although what I do or what I want to do does not change, life will often enough happen and that can throw you off your game. So I'm still handling certain things or finding the mechanics to consistently handle the things of life in a way that they don't affect my pursuit, my goal of happiness and freedom. And decision, I think I put it at a 9. Uh, don't like to give myself perfect scores, but decision wise, I think I've stayed focused for the past 5 years. And even within the transition period that I'm in, I'm still focused on the dream. It hasn't changed.
Love it.
My change, the time I feel that I control, well, I steal my own time, so I put it in 8. So there's me there, or there's uh, the decision there, but I put it at 8. My peace of mind, I put it at a 5 because again, it's often enough what you do has to be balanced with your personal life, and my next of kin sometime will take a little bit of that energy. And decision, I stay at a 8 because I mean, again, there's the focus on achieving what I set forward to achieve one way or another does not leave me. And I usually will, well, I always keep to the patterns of action that I see are fruitful for me. So I'll put it at 8.
Love
And
it.
that is me.
I love it.
And
Love
this
it.
is powerful because I'm going to keep that and periodically use that as a standard for my next evaluation on a daily basis. Where am I turning this 5 into a 6 or a 7 and such? So this was a powerful thing. It's a powerful
Love
map.
it, brother. Love it. And I'm glad that you got some value out of it. And one thing that I do want to say, just to wrap things up, that always comes to my mind, write it down if you need to. But everything that we've said and done today, this comes to mind. And it's a simple phrase: control the controllables, right? If it's not in your control, don't freak out about it. Ladies, you especially, because you're wired differently than men, right? We have to think about those as you're going through life. Is it in or out of my control? If it's not out of your, in your control, then don't stress over it, right? If it's in your control, then that's where we evaluate, have that awareness, right? So if you got some value from today, just type if you don't want to come out and say yes, it did or whatever. At least let me know that you got something out of this, and I'm going to share my numbers with you real quick. For time freedom, I put myself at a 9. Financial freedom, I put myself at an 8. We're doing some big things that, man, come October, it's going to change everything. Relationship, I'm going to put that at a 10. Health and energy freedom, I'm gonna put that at around, I'd say 8.5. Still doing my yoga, my DDP yoga. And actually, I forgot to mention that I'm back down to 180 now. I raised 10 pounds, ate too much ice cream. Well, we got rid of that. Now I just gotta pass that 180 mark, so we're right there. Purpose and expression freedom for me is at 9.5 to 10. I'm very non-limited, other than, like I said, the things that I may or may not want to say on Facebook to express myself. Four pillars of freedom, clarity is at a 10. Leverage, I'm going to have to say at about a 7, because there's still obviously things that I can learn and know how to leverage some of these things, especially when it comes to tools. Consistency, I'm going to say at 10, 10 plus. Decision is 10 plus. It's how I live my life, right? I wake up in the morning, jump out of bed, grateful for another day of life, and I do that all without drinking one drop of coffee. Breaking my chains 10 on the time, because I do own my schedule, even though, I have daily meetings, like I had one with Dale and Ursilia today. I still control my time. I'm just giving it to them to say, I want to have that time at this particular point in time, right? So I still own my schedule. Peace, who steals my calm? I'm gonna put that at a 9. And I told you guys you don't have to explain, but for me, I'm always doing what I can to kind of work on myself, on being more peaceful, having more calm in my life, or a little bit more patience, right? Especially patience, because I know that we can expire our patience very quickly. And I've been told many times that I'm very patient, but I've seen other people out there that are more patient than me, which reminds me to be more patient. And then for decisions, number 3, that's going to be a definite 10. And I'm not saying this to be funny, but I make the decisions around here. Even though I've got a wife and you have that life, and you want to keep her happy, ultimately the final decisions tend to come down to me. Beyond that, I'm done asking for permission. I have been for many years. Done living at half speed. I don't know what half speed is, and I've been ready to own my own life, which is something that we do. So that's what we're here for. I trust you guys had a great experience. I know I did. What I'm going to ask you guys to do is go ahead and unmute yourself, say freedom if you got something out of it, and then ultimately go right now and go share your story. All I got for you guys. Again, I don't want the glory, just want
Freedom.
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 Freedom all the way.
have a blessed week, everyone. Salute you.
Thanks.